What's going on, my Liberian people? Hope everybody ready for the new year. I can't wait to go back to Liberia next year. I can already taste the food now. So in this video here, I want to talk about an issue that I think is a big issue in Liberia, but it's one of those issues that it doesn't seem like a problem on the surface. And some of these could be the biggest issue long term. So let's talk about it. So the issue I'm talking about is the fact that every Liberian want to build a retirement home in Liberia. So I already know what y'all thinking. How could this be a problem if somebody want to come to Liberia and build their retirement home? Now, it's an issue that I've talked about with some people that are in my inner circle. And recently, that conversation just came back up in a Facebook group that I'm in, a Liberian Facebook group. And it was something like an older gentleman had made a post showing his house that, he's been working on for 20-something years. And pretty much he's ready to go back home to Liberia to retire. It seems like that's the number one goal of Liberians is to build a retirement home, because everybody in that group was applauding him and praising it. And, I gave him his congratulations and everything. That made me think of some of the conversations I had with some of my friends and conversations relating to building Liberia, improving Liberia's infrastructure, bringing people back home. And this is why I feel like it could be a problem if your main goal is to build a retirement home in Liberia. Most Liberians don't do anything in Liberia. So for the ones that are planning to build a retirement home and the ones that are going through with it, you're on a higher scale than majority of Liberians. So I don't want anybody to take this video out of context, but this is what I mean when I say having a goal of building retirement back home could be an issue, because if that's your only goal, then think about how much that's actually hurting the country. Like if you come here at a young age, you're in your teens or 20 years old, in your 20s, and you work for 30 years, 40 years to go back home to build a retirement home. Well, if every Liberian is planning on doing the same thing, then who's building our country? Who's improving the country? Who's addressing issues like homelessness, kids not being able to go to school, food shortages, lack of tourism, lack of modern amenities? The list could go on and on with all the issues in Liberia. So if everybody just focused on building a retirement home, building your tall walls in your compound and just being good in your own compound, then who's taking care of or addressing these issues in the country? And before you say let government do it, so let's think about the history in Liberia. Has government really even made a dent in any of these problems, or have things gotten worse as time progresses? And a lot of times I think about some of the Ghanaians and Nigerians that I do business with. A lot of these people have multiple houses and homes in their countries, but it's not even something to brag about. It's not something to plan ahead in the future for. It's something they just figure that, hey, we just do it and move on and go do other things. Now, there's a certain demographic of Liberians where this makes sense. For some of our parents and grandparents who came to these countries, America, UK, Australia, wherever it is, who came to these countries after the war, they had grew up in Liberia during the war and left already at an older age. And, in a short span of time, they're returning home to build their retirement homes. Then yes, Oma, do your thing, go build your retirement home. Pape, do your thing, build a retirement home. But if you're a young person, anywhere from 20 to 40 years old, then your goal should not be to build a retirement home. Your goal should be thinking of how you can impact your country to make it a better place. So when you do retire, you're coming back home to a better country. I feel like, it's such a waste of resource to spend all your time in America, paying taxes, buying your house in America, spending your money frivolously buying luxury things, and then at an older age to say, okay, well, I'm going to go back to my country and build my retirement home. I just imagine that some of the people that I talk to and people that are really making an impact in Liberia, I imagine what a waste of potential that would be if these people only focus on building one retirement home in Liberia and that's all they want to do. There's certain people, the older people, that this is okay because they already came to these countries at a much older age. But if you came to this country at a younger age and you're going to say, okay, when I get older and I'm ready to retire, then I go to Liberia and build a house, this is a huge waste of resource, a huge waste of potential, and is not helping our country in the slightest. So I know what some of y'all thinking. Y'all watched my other video and y'all said, well, I told you come and build your house in Brewerville. You build your own house there. And that is the same thing you're doing. Well, first, that's not the same thing, because before I even start building my own primary residence, I'm a part of an investment group who is building a resort. So before I ever break ground on my own personal house, I'm breaking ground on an investment property, something that will boost tourism, something that will set a trend, something that will motivate and inspire Liberians to try to do the same, which I'm already getting so many emails and people reaching out to me, thanking me, and, pretty much admitting that it is motivating them. So I'm not in the same boat as somebody who's just trying to build a retirement home. In addition to that, when I do build my house, when I do break ground on my house, I'm building multiple residences, but I'm doing so in an effort to use those as almost like rental properties, but not really thinking of the money. I'm more thinking that if I create a lot of modern homes with modern amenities, I can make it easier for my friends in America, UK, people who know nothing about Africa, people who know nothing about Liberia. I can make it easier for them to come and visit, because I can have a comfortable place for them to stay. I can have transportation for them to get around, and I could just help impact the tourism in Liberia to bring people back to the country, because one of our main goals is to spread awareness. A lot of people are interested in Liberia, but they have no means of going and visiting, because a lot of these infrastructures are not there. A lot of these rentals are not modern. They don't have amenities that people are used to. So it's hard to imagine African American going back to Liberia and staying somewhere other than a major hotel. And those major hotels are not creating the African experience. They're not showing people the real Liberia. They're just going to stay in a hotel room on a resort for a few days and go back. And it's not really giving them that experience. So I'm not planning on building my retirement home. If I get to my retirement age in my 60s and all I have is one home in Liberia, then I failed. I failed my country. That's not what I'm doing. Even doing this YouTube channel right here, I'm trying to promote Liberia. I'm pushing Liberia. I'm spreading awareness. I'm using my diverse culture from being raised in America to relate with African Americans and show them that other side. I'm using social media. I'm using YouTube, the platform, to spread the word on how great of a country Liberia is, how much potential Liberia has. So maybe in the future we can attract foreign investors, which we've already done at this point. So before y'all kind of say that I come here to build my own house too, no, that's not what I'm doing. There's so many different ways that I plan on helping Liberia, but I can't do it alone. I need your help. I need the mindset to change. I need to set a better example for the next generation. I don't want them to think that it's okay to just build a retirement home in Liberia and that's all you have to do, because those people sitting in America and they're blowing their money. They're wasting their money. So I'm more doing it for the next generation to set that trend, because the generation before us, they were raised in the war. They still have that defensive mindset. So they'll often tell you, like my grandma will often tell me, make sure you go build your house in Liberia, build a house in Liberia. That's all they know. That's why they're saying it. But when we're raised in this country, or we're raised in the Western world, then we have a different mindset. We can approach issues from a different perspective. So these are some of the conversations that I'm having with my inner circle, because we're talking about solving issues in Liberia. And if you're not going to help with anything, then a retirement home is not really helping the country. It's really helping you. Now, you might also think, well, the people that are building my house, I'm giving them a job. Yes, that's true. You're giving a very small group of limited people work. But what's a bigger disadvantage to the country is the missed potential. Yes, you gave those people work, but if you really put your mind to it, or you really try to do something else, how much good could you have done in that country in 10, 20 years? So when I see a younger person telling me that, right now they're not doing nothing in Liberia, but when they get older and they retire, they're going to build a house, all I see is wasted potential, because you could be a part of our movement. You could help. You can contribute. I don't care if it's a nonprofit giving the children school clothes, school bags. I don't care if you're going to feed families, whatever it is. There's more to be done that can actually impact the country. When I hear retirement home, all I see is tall walls in a compound that you're going to be sitting in your compound secluded to yourself. And as long as you have everything you need in that compound, you good. You're not worried about what's going on outside of that compound. And that's the kind of mentality we want to change in Liberia. So I hope that nobody takes this out of context. I hope my point has reached you wherever you are in the world. And I hope that at some point you can give me a hand on this mission, because I'll need every last Liberian to help out. This is something that we can't accomplish in this lifetime, because Liberia just has so many issues. But we have to start from somewhere, and we have to work together. So I hope that by making these videos, I can motivate people all around the world. And for everybody who has reached out to me, I appreciate all the support, the words of encouragement. They mean more than you know. And if you guys are trying to reach me, I will leave my email in this link. And I know I have to do better about checking my email, but right now we just don't have any projects going on where anybody can contribute or be a part of. We do have a few communities going on, and we're selling lands here and there. So maybe that's the only thing I could really help you out with at this time. But what I'm trying to do is form a network for us to stay close, stay in touch, because all those things that I'm talking about, all those projects, giving back to the country, those things are coming up. But like they say, you have to crawl first before you walk, and then finally run. But trust me, my Liberians, very, very soon we're going to be running, and we want as many of you guys as possible to sprint with us. So I hope that everybody has big plans for the New Year's, and I hope you guys really think about it, how you can impact your country. We each all have our own skills and abilities that are unique to us. And if we come together and use those skills and abilities and focus on improving our country, not just improving the things we can do for ourselves in Liberia, then I really truly believe that we can have a country that we can really go home and enjoy in our retirement age. So I hope you guys stay tuned to this channel. I hope you subscribe if you're not already. And I hope you share this video with some other Liberians so we can all get on the same page. It's better sooner than later. Until then, I will catch you guys in 2023. And I hope everybody has a prosperous and happy New Year's.